What is... Dax, are you?
Tracking all our cars on Carvana Value Tracker on all our devices? Yes, Kristen, yes I am.
Well, I've been looking for my phone for...
In Dax's domain, we see all. So we always know what our cars are worth.
All of them?
All of them. Value surge, trucks up 3.9%.
That's a great offer.
I know. Sell?
Sell.
Track your car's value with Carvana Value Tracker today.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
You got problems that you ought to be concerned with. Moolah! You don't know how you're supposed to earn it, or what to do with it, or how to keep it. You're a freak with a dark, shameful secret. But you're not the only one. Get your hidden financial fears with a blast of sun. Now your healing has begun. It's Bad with Money with Gabe S. Dunn.
Hello and welcome back to Bad with Money Bonus Bag. I'm here with Megan Gorman, author of All the President's Money, and we're going to do a little 15-minute or so rapid fire situation. Megan, do you want to tell my audience who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Megan Gorman, and I'm the managing partner and founder of a high net worth tax and financial planning firm called Checkers Financial Management. And I'm a tax attorney by training. And I've always worked in high net worth, ultra high net worth. And I work with all areas of my clients' finances, from taxes to estate planning to investing. I pretty much have done it all in finance. And it's a lot of fun, but it's taught me a lot about people and their sort of psychology about money.
And this book is all about the president's money.
It is.
So these are just some things that I wrote down that I wanted to ask you about that didn't really fit in with the larger interview. 9 presidents didn't attend college.
Yep.
And all were born into poverty, and yet all found ways to get educations without college. And then with the exception of Andrew Johnson, they all died wealthy men. So
Yep.
Can you talk about a couple of the ones that started extremely poor? Like, who started the most? It's hard to be like, who started the most poor and made the most of a change? But you know what I mean? Like, what's the story from that sort of angle?
Well, let's talk Lincoln, right? Everybody loves Abraham Lincoln. So Lincoln grows up he's born in Kentucky. And at first his father owned land, but then his father's finances spiral out. But Lincoln grows up and his mom dies, but his stepmother encourages him to read. And they have a very tough life as he's growing up. And he doesn't get along with his father. And when he's 21, he's finally able to leave the family home. And this is important because up until you were 21, all your money had to go to your father. That was the rule. That was the law. So he's 21. He goes to New Salem in Illinois. He gets in there and he decides he's going to go and buy a store with this guy named William Berry. And he buys the store with a loan. So no experience owning a store, no experience with P&Ls or anything like that. But he gets in there, buys the store, and then he and William Berry make every financial mistake under the sun. They have easy credit, so they overbuy inventory. They're not good at paying their bills. They're just not selling enough stuff. And so the business goes bust. And William Berry is an alcoholic, and he subsequently dies. And so Lincoln not only has his debt from the store, but he has William Berry's. So now he's $1,100 in debt, couldn't go to college, And he goes through learning how to practice law on his own while he's trying to pay down this debt. And he calls the debt the national debt, but $1,100 is like $40,000 in our money, buying power.
Yeah.
So here's a guy, even though he doesn't go to college, he now has all this debt. He makes his way to Springfield, teaches himself the law, and does pretty decently practicing the law. But then he does something that a lot of other presidents have done. He marries up. He marries a woman who's wealthier than him, right? So this is the key to wealth, right?
A lot of these guys did.
A lot of these guys did. And then they need to buy a house in town, and Mary Todd's father helps them do this. Now, Lincoln learns about money along the way, even though, he's all self-taught, and he's a good saver, even though he's married to a woman who spends like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he saves and saves and saves that by the time he goes to the White House in 1861, he's worth $15,000. He's paid off his debt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about $500,000 in today's buying power. And then he's in the White House and he's making $25,000 a year. That's huge.
Huge for him.
And he saves every paycheck into treasury bonds, earning 6%.
Wow.
Now, his wife's off in New York spending like crazy.
Sure.
But she's hiding the debt and he's saving and he's hiding the savings. So they're quite mismatched, right? When he dies, he's worth $85,000, which is about $2 million in today's money. Why I tell you that is, if you today wanted to start out and not go to college and just get into a business and fail, we don't live in a day and age where you can fail and pivot and continue to succeed.
Right.
And that's the thing I learned in sort of studying this is we have all the same issues as we did in George Washington's time. How do you afford school? How do you buy a house? How do you pay for your family? But it's never been harder than it is today. I'm not sure Lincoln's story could happen today.
That's deeply unfortunate.
It's a challenge. It's, we've got to really figure out other ways for people to find ways to build financial stability.
I mean, it is interesting how often they marry up. I know Lady Bird as well.
George Washington, the father of it all.
It's that behind every great man is a woman whose father has a bunch of money, I guess.
Exactly.
Although Lady Bird had built her own wealth too.
But, here's one of the things that's interesting is it tells you a lot about who they are, right? And how they assess things. It could be a risk to marry up, but they all embraced that risk and the opportunity set that it created for them.
I think there's also maybe a humility in that they're willing to they're willing to take money from their father-in-law or, see their wife as an equal contributor to their legacy.
Right. Yeah.
Your hair is so much more than what you see when you look in the mirror. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. With Nutrafol's science-backed whole body approach, nourish growth from within and achieve your best hair yet. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Physician-formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. In a clinical study, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage after taking Nutrafol Men Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months, and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BWM. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. New Year's resolutions are so hard to follow. I argue that we should probably just make these resolutions at any other time during the year when it's less stressful and there's less pressure on them. But if you have a specific resolution that you want to stick to that you feel is like within your grasp, you know, that isn't like so far-fetched, then I guess New Year's is as good a time as any to do it, especially with money, because that stuff is like, you just need a kickstart and it's really not that hard to do. It's really not so far off. If you have a big goal, only 8% of people stick to their resolutions all year long. But let's say there's a little goal that's a little more automatic, like acorns. With acorns, you can lock in years and years of healthy money habits in just 5 minutes. That's all the time it takes to open your account and start automatically saving and investing your money so it has a chance to grow. Automatically. That's key for one of those little resolutions. That's right. Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing so your money has a chance to grow for you, your kids, and your retirement. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can start with $5 or even just your spare change. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. You don't need to feel like financial wellness is impossible. Acorns gives you small, simple steps to get you and your money on track. Again, what a good time to go for a resolution that isn't like climb Mount Everest, you know what I mean? Basically, Acorns does the hard part so you can give your money a chance to grow. As far as personal experience, you guys know that I've been up and down with investing. I've just gotten back into it with a very small amount of money. It really does matter. Watching it grow even a little bit is huge for me. And if you do start doing it, I mean, we would truly be on a better path financially than most people. Don't let it get you down that you're like, oh, it's just a small amount of money. That is like such an achievement in this country, I promise. Head to acorns.com/badmoney or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/badmoney. Can you believe it's 2025 already? Life moves pretty fast, and starting a new year always reminds me of that. Well, I don't know what's going to happen this year. I know I'm prepared for the unexpected. Are you? Fabric by Gerber Life helps you get term life insurance in minutes, so you can help protect your family's financial future. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and on your schedule. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer enough protection for your family, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric has partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families like yours for over 50 years. There's no risk. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. They have over 1,900 5-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent. Fabric was designed for busy parents like you, and it's more than life insurance. Free digital wills, access to investment accounts to invest for your kids' future, and more. And manage it all right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/badwithmoney. That's meetfabric.com/badwithmoney. MEET fabric.com/badwithmoney. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Let's get into Teddy Roosevelt.
Yep.
And so Roosevelt started wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was like his approach? Because I know that, like, you know, you get into a bit about like Eisenhower and Nixon and how they came from modest means. So what is it like to be a president that comes from money, and how did that influence Roosevelt?
Yeah, it's interesting. All the presidents that came from money handled it differently, whether it's the two Roosevelts, the Kennedys, the Bushes. But Teddy Roosevelt grows up wealthy in New York, and he reveres his father. His father he worships. And when he goes off to Harvard, when he's at Harvard, his father dies of cancer.
Oh.
And it's in the New York Times. I mean, his father's a prominent person in New York. It's in the New York Times along with the details of the trust that Theodore Roosevelt and his siblings each inherit.
Oh.
And so he's 19, mourning his father, running around Harvard, and he's a big personality. And he falls in love. And this is wildly dangerous with someone with this kind of money because he starts to spend money out of control in wooing Alice Hathaway Lee. I mean, he's buying her jewelry, he's taking her out, and she finally agrees to marry him. And he goes out and he buys land in Oyster Bay. They're planning this big, beautiful house and he's spending money. And of course, tragically, Alice, his wife, and his mother famously die on the same day. Alice while she's in childbirth. And Roosevelt's devastated. I mean, it happens on February 14th. You know, he writes in his diary, "The light in my life has gone out."
Yes.
And he's lost. And he goes west. Now, the West is like AI or Silicon Valley, right? It's everybody wants to invest in the West, okay? And people are writing about it. It's the hot thing. And he goes out there and he meets people and he's in North Dakota and he literally buys land randomly, just writes a check.
Okay.
And he's going to have cattle and herd it. And so he invests in this. He puts people in charge of it. He goes back to New York. He resumes his life. But a black swan event happens.
Yes.
There is this massive freeze in the West that had never happened before. And all the cattle die. His whole investment falls apart. He loses a large percentage of his trust. The money from the trust in this investment. Now, we look back at this 100 and some years later and we're like, well, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have these great national parks and so on. But for him, losing the investment was devastating. And so throughout his life, Theodore Roosevelt was a fast writer. He wrote a lot of books to help support himself.
Oh.
And his second wife, Edith, kept him on an allowance.
Interesting.
So she was much better at managing him than his first wife, who let him spend the money like crazy. So Theodore Roosevelt was able to right the ship, but it required more careful money management because of the fact that the investment in the West went sideways. And so, they always say shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. It's said that there's a saying for that in every language.
What does that mean?
Basically, the first generation makes it, the second generation spends it, and the third generation looks like, where did the money go? It's gone, right?
Okay.
And that's sort of what you see with Theodore Roosevelt a little bit. His earlier family members had made the money. He lost a little of it and he was able to stabilize it, but he didn't grow it to the level that you would think he had because he was focused on other things.
Interesting.
Same thing with FDR.
I was going to say, let's do FDR.
Oh, FDR was total trust fund kid. So we all think about the Roosevelt money, which is all from, the Dutch immigrants to New York and owning land. But the real money for FDR came from his mother's side, the Delano side, because they made their money in the opium trade.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And his father dies when he's a teenager, but his mother is the trustee of all his trusts. And his mother's a very dominant person in his life, right? And, he marries his cousin Eleanor, and she has a trust and he has a trust, and they sort of live off their trust money, and mother pays for everything. In fact, mother let them buy a house and she bought the house next door and connected the houses. So he doesn't have the same money worries that we do, but he's a lot like wealthy people today because he gets a lot of great ideas put in front of him. And I talk about this in the book. He has this ability to invest in a lobster company. He has ability to invest in a dirigible company or like the Goodyear blimp type things.
Yeah.
When those were cutting edge technology. So he invests in these angel investments and so on. And, he just never focuses on money. But what's important about FDR is we all know he gets polio in 1921. 1924, he finds warm springs. He's told about these springs that if he goes there, he could walk again. And it's his aha moment. And I'm not going to get into the details, but he basically gets to a point where he buys the warm springs and the hotel. And it's a total dilapidated building. He wanted to have a resort. People didn't want a vacation with people with polio. People were terrified of polio. He spends 2/3 of his trust money on this. And he's not the best money manager. And so his business partner, his law partner, Basil O'Connor, says, stop what you're doing. I'm going to come help. They turn it into a charity.
Yes.
They raise money for it, which I get into in the book. But the one thing they do that we all know today is when he became president, they said, let's have a birthday ball. And to raise money to fight polio, everyone should send a dime into the president. And Eddie Cantor, who was a famous singer at the time, said, it's going to be a march of dimes. And everybody sent the dimes in. I mean, people did it. Could you imagine today Joe Biden or Donald Trump saying, send me a dime? Nobody would do it. And everybody sent
people
dime.
would send a dime.
You think? I don't know. I feel like you have your own money. Anyway, they take the money and they invest in searching for a vaccine. And FDR dies in 1945, and the vaccine is found in 1956. And so Elvis Presley was the first person to get it on television.
Yes.
And so when you think about FDR, he's not a great money manager, but he's very good with impact.
Yeah, he had a legacy.
And he's very good at taking people who are good at doing this stuff, like Basil O'Connor, and getting them to get the whole team involved. He was all about unity and we're all going to do this and we're all going to do it together. And he literally prevented polio from continuing to be this childhood scourge that it was. And polio was devastating.
Yeah. My dad had it.
Your dad had polio?
Yeah. My dad's
Oh,
old.
wow. Did he get better?
He did get better. He has like a limp and like his hand doesn't work right and stuff. But
he didn't have to do the iron lung thing.
I don't know if he did. I think he was in it for a minute. I have to ask. I tried to ask his mom about it one time. She's long since passed and she was French and also just like impossible to talk to in a great way. But she told me that he got it from apples. And I was like, that can't be true. So
yeah, it's usually passed among children.
No, a lot of her stories were very like.
Yeah. But polio was a devastating disease for a really long time in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, he has impacts to his body to this day for sure. And so, I'm so glad that we've elected someone who shall put RFK in office, who in charge of health.
Vaccine hesitancy is a challenge.
Yeah, just to sort of decimate the whole vaccine situation for everyone. So soup's cool.
Yeah, but I will tell you, over the course of history, there's always been vaccine hesitancy. That's why they asked Elvis to get the polio vaccine. Elvis got it. And then the next day, every teenager in America was vaccinated.
Well, Harry Styles, where are you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Harry. Where are you?
Oh boy, can your finances take a hit during the holidays. I've definitely had stuff come up that I, forgot about last minute, gifts for people, realizing I don't have something for someone's +1 or significant other, trying to put together meals. I mean, you can think you've thought everything through for the holidays and oh boy, might it take a while to recover financially. But we all get it. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to spend time with people and make the most of it and have this magical time that we all look forward to all year long. We spend more than we should during the holidays. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no monthly or maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/badmoney. I am notorious for forgetting about automatic payments and then I overdraft. I have had a history of overdrafting my account. It's horrible. There's tons of fees. There's even fees for going below a certain number, even if you aren't overdrafting. Like, it is such a relief to have a Chime account that allows you to overdraft up to $200 with no fees. It's a financial tech company with a sense of community. You can have temporarily increased overdraft limits with boosts from friends. Join the millions of Chime members who are working on financial progress. Chime helps with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees. Over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. To date, Chime has spotted members over $32 billion in transactions through SpotMe. Friends give friends a boost. Eligible members get complimentary boosts to temporarily increase a friend's SpotMe limit. When you give a boost, they can boost you back to temporarily raise your limit. Set up direct deposit in your Chime account. After a qualifying direct deposit of $200 plus, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges overdraft fees for using Spot Me. Enjoy the holidays while keeping your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/badmoney. That's chime.com/badmoney. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals.
At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
And then, the last thing I wanted to talk about with FDR is the life insurance thing.
Yeah, so FDR did a technique that we do today. So when FDR was going to go run for office and he had polio and he didn't want to leave his charity, they came up with this idea. They were going to get the charity to buy life insurance on FDR. And they wanted to buy enough to keep the Warm Springs Foundation going in perpetuity. Mm-hmm. So they calculated they need about $500,000 worth of life insurance. That's about $10 million in our money. Mm-hmm. And they go out to get him insured and nobody wants to insure him. He's not a good risk, but he's FDR. And he's like, of course I'm a great risk. He does a interview and he's like, I may be in my 40s, but they told me I have the body of a 32-year-old. Like, not truthful in any way, shape, or form. So the life insurance companies are all like, okay, if you insure him, we'll do it too. And he gets all the insurance. And literally on the day he dies, these Western unions go out around to all the insurance companies because the insurance funds, the Warm Spring Foundation becomes the National Infant Paralysis Foundation by that point, and it funds the charity. And that's some of the money that helps support Jonas Salk in the pursuit of the vaccine. So again, it's these little ideas that can really change the world. So don't ever give up if you feel like you're not as good with money, because a lot of times it's about thinking about things like impact. And FDR, he's not going to be a budgeter like Herbert Hoover or George Washington, but he changed the world with the vaccine.
What a wonderful place to end, and so uplifting. This book is so cool. Thank you. There's so much stuff that we didn't even get to. Can you tell my listeners where to find you and where to find the book?
Sure. You can find me at allthepresidentsmoney.com. And the book is available at booksellers across the country and at amazon.com. So check it out.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Bad with Money with Gabriel S. Dunn is a production of Noted Bisexual, produced by Melisa D. Monts and Diamond MPrint Productions. Edited by Diane Kang, post-production sound by Coco Llorens, production assistance by Melanie D. Watson, and music by Mike Kaplan, Zach Sherwin, and Jack Dolgen, sung by Sam Barbera. Thank you, love you, bye!
At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.